Hello, this is Salman Muhyiddin, and welcome to my latest vlog on sustainability reporting in UAE. Today, we are diving into Power BI presentation that highlights that companies listed on Abu Dhabi Stock Exchange ADX are performing on ESG KPIs. Since 2020, ADX has required listed companies to report on 31 GRI based 31 key performance indicators. This framework is aligned with UAE's commitment to United Nations Sustainable Development Goals and its wider push for a sustainable future. In this vlog, I have analyzed few key performance indicators for the companies which are listed on Abu Dhabi Stock Exchange. I have selected four companies from four major sectors. First, ADNOC from energy sector. Second, FAB from financial sector. FAB means First Abu Dhabi Bank. Third one, E&A, formerly known as Etisalat. And fourth one, International Holding Company IHC, which is a conglomerate having more than 1,000 subsidiaries. Using these companies' reports from year 2021 to 2024, we will try to analyze their evolution on their disclosure evolution in the space of ESG. I have developed a Power BI presentation, a couple of dashboards to bring this analysis to life, where we will review revenue and profit, emissions, energy consumption, water usage, and waste. And we will also try to analyze or benchmark comparison with S&P 500 sector-wise comparison. Just to highlight or identify that S&P 500 data is not directly sourced from S&P 500, but rather sourced from AI tools like Grok and ChatGPT, just to have a trend analysis at a broader level. At the end, we will wrap this up with a quick analysis of each company with their alignment of the GRI mandated KPIs, TCFD compliance, TNFD compliance, CSRD compliance, and we will also review the evolving boundaries, the reporting boundaries of these companies. Since IFRS S1 and S2 has not been adopted by ADX, neither of the companies which I have reviewed in my analysis have adopted these standards. This is yet to be seen. Then, once these are implemented, how these would affect the reporting. My understanding is that this would definitely, if implemented, would definitely increase the bar for reporting. In a separate upcoming vlog, I will try to explore that these new standards, if implemented, what sort of challenges that company could face, how reporting could improve because these are investor focused standard, and what sort of value they can add for sustainability reporting. So let's jump in. I'm switching towards the screen recording where I will do the analysis in the dashboard presentation, and I'll walk you through these analysis step by step. So stay tuned. On this dashboard, we can see that on the left side, we see 17 Sustainable Development Goals image. On the top we can see that there is one separately identified or highlighted a goal of climate action, goal number 13. And for our analysis, what we have done is that we have worked on or identified sub goals on which we have based our presentation. Since ADX has adopted GRI framework and companies listed on Abu Dhabi Securities Market Security Exchange are required to comply with this requirement, and this GRI framework actually aligns with and supports sustainable development goals and assist in complying with the requirement of FDG for the UAE. Below is we can see that there is a table of contents just to show that how our presentation is structured. In the beginning, we will discuss about revenue and some KPIs related to emissions and energy. Then we will discuss emissions against their benchmark with S&P 500. In dashboard 3 and 4, we have covered waste generation alongside with their S&P 500 sector counterpart. And at the end, we are concluding regarding their compliance with ADX, some other standard like CSRD, TNFD, IFRS sustainability standards, and their assurance standard. Their assurance level, that what sort of assurance right now they're achieving the maturity level. And further, in the conclusion part, we have tried to simplify few key important definitions related to connected information and reporting boundaries. Let's now dive into the first dashboard, which offers a high level view of both financial and environmental performance across four major ADX listed companies: ADNOC, EN, FAB, and IHC. On the top left, we can see that there are line charts showing revenue and net profit in AED billions. This trend highlights how each company has performed financially over recent years. First, we have ADNOC. ADNOC shows a steady but notable growth, with revenue rising from 31.5 billion in 2021 to 35.5 billion in 2024. Next, we have EN, which is a telecommunication company. Its revenue has increased on consistent basis year by year from 51.5 billion to 56 billion. Next, we have FAB, which is a bank, represents a smooth upward trend too, growing from 26.5 billion to 31.6 billion. IHC, however, is the standout, with a dramatic jump from 30 billion to an impressive 92.8 billion over the period over, from 2021 to 2024. On the right side, we have tree map of energy consumption. What we notice here that ADNOC dominates the chart. Its energy consumption is so high that almost other company disappears unless we deselect them, unless we deselect ADNOC. This emphasizes the vast scale of its operations. Let's have a quick look at how other companies are performing. If we deselect ADNOC here, we see that the telecommunication company has gigajoule consumption of energy from 22.6 million to 4 million, approx 4 million. In case of FAB, which is the bank, only 235K to only 376K, which is quite understandable in case of is a service organization. However, in case of ISC, it is a bit different altogether. In case of ISC, we have reports from year 2021, 2022, then 23 and 24, in which we would see that there is a reporting change, the way they have reported the numbers. In the beginning, from year 2021 to 2022, the group adopted reporting based on group level reporting. Major subsidiaries numbers were consolidated. However, due to some structural changes and expansion of the group, probably they shifted the reporting style. Subsequently, from year 23 and 2024, they started to report only the holding company. We can see only the IHC holding numbers are presented. Only 0.915 to 1.68K is in case of IHC. And whereas if we again go back to the same ADNOC, we can see that the gigajoule consumption of energy is above 700 million in all years. In the bottom below, we see a dual axis chart which shows GHG emissions and water consumption. GHG emission is in million metric ton, and water consumption, water usage is in cubic meter. This combined line chart help us track both emission and water consumption over time. In case of ADNOC, what we see that again it is leading with its consistent high scale industrial footprint. In case of in case of and FAB, they maintain both moderate performance. We can see that they are pretty much same performance over the period. Likewise, in case of FAB, is a downward trend. In case of ADNOC, we can see that its water consumption has increased from 5.1 billion to 5.5 billion. And in case of its emission, it has variation from 24.9 million metric ton to 24.6, but there is a slight decrease during other 2 years. However, if we go to IHC, what we see, we see that IHC number at head office level, the holding level, is consistent, fairly consistent. Is because they first of all they started to report recently, and mainly emission data was available, but I was able to see. And in case of group, where group numbers were reported, we could see that whatever number of subsidiaries they consolidated, it had a huge footprint of emission as well as water consumption. Subsequently, due to its strategic change in reporting, which we will further discuss later in the vlog, what could be the reason that this led to this change. Uh, some reasons they have described in their report, as well as we will try to further analyze or to try to comment on that. Now let's move to our dashboard 2. In this dashboard, we compare GHG emission of four ADX listed companies that we have selected for comparison against their S&P 500 respective sectors. Each chart shows the company emissions as a bar alongside its global peer as a benchmark, or what we can say just to analyze the trend. On the left side, we can see top left, we have telecommunication, communication services, and we are comparing it against our selected company, EN, which formerly known as Etisalat. We can see that Etisalat emission, EN emissions, have evolved from 0.38 to 1.92, 1.91, and 1.74. It has an upward trajectory. In case of its peer, like its sector analysis, sector wise, sector average, S&P 500, it has downward trend from 1.2 going down to 0.9. This puts EN above the global telecom benchmark or trend, signaling potential opportunities around energy efficiency in its network and data center operations. Bottom left, we have F&B and S&P 500 financial sector comparison. F&B is fairly at the lower emission range side, fairly consistent. Whereas in case of its industry benchmark, which is around 1, from here it is 0.6 to 0.45, so they are within the range, so quite consistent downward trend. On the top right, we have IHC, and if we just compare IHC at holding level, we can see that their number are modest. And IHC, since it's a large conglomerate, we tend to analyze it against different type of sectors. For example, if we compare, if I just deselect this IHC itself, IHC group, which has the consolidated figures, IHC against the real estate sector, against the industrial sector, as well as the conglomerate. This sector averages from S&P 500 based for the trend purposes. We can see that this is so massive numbers for IHC when the number were consolidated that it outshines all sectors, real estate, industrial, conglomerate. It's standing tall among all. And due to the boundary change, as we had discussed before, basically this reaffirms the importance of boundary choice. At the bottom right, ADNOC reports 24.9 million metric ton back in 2021, as against only 2.45 the sector average. Same 2024. This stark contrast reflects ADNOC massive upstream operations. If we just summarize, E&A and FAB track close to or above their global sector averages, fairly consistent. In case of IHC, this number depends heavily on the choice of reporting boundary. And in case of ADNOC, its numbers are fairly high due to its massive scale operations, probably upstream operations. If we look at it, all sets the stage for targeted ESG strategies going forward. Now, let's move to dashboard 3, where we compare waste generation for ADNOC and EN, Itaslat, against their S&P 500 industry averages measured in tons. For the rest of the two companies, that would be in the next dashboard. Starting from on top left, we see waste for ADNOC. Data for 2021 was not available, so we have to select for year 2021 was not available, so we are selecting 2022. What we see here that in case of ADNOC, in year 2022 is 154,943 tons of waste was generated as against 125,402 tons, which is a drop. Likewise, in case of is hazardous waste is 40,186 and it has increased to 44,738. And if you look at its industry averages, it is around 7,300 tons as an industry average in this sector. So, in case of total waste generation, in case of ADNOC, might be related to efficiency or reporting refinement. Next, we have here, we have to again select the full number of years. Okay. What we see here that in case of this telecommunication company, waste from 326 tons, it has increased to 1369 tons in 2024. And if you look at the industry average of the same telecommunication sector, we can see it is around 1000, just 900 tons. This increase, if we just try to give a reason, it may be related to the operational expansion and expansion of its operations to Europe. This might be related to the increase, but overall, this is well in line. So now let's move to review the remaining two companies, which is FAB and IHC. We see here that in case of FAB, there is a movement within the waste generation. We can see that back in 21 is 3,000 ton and 2022 it is increased to 5,400 tons. But there is a drop again in 705 ton, maybe due to some sort of reporting refinement or changes. 24 data is not available at the time of reviewing or gathering the data. So this is hard. It looks like overall there is a decreasing trend if we just include the 23. In case of its industry average, we see here that there is around 2,400, 2,500 is the average. So in case of FAB, only in prior year it has a higher number. In future, if it remains to this level, it's well within the line. Now we have IHC. IHC, we have shown here the data related to the group, as we know that they change their reporting boundary, the way they report the number, and instead of consolidated data, now at group level they just present the holding company data, and only some important key companies data they show in the report. Only few key indicators. Rest subsidiaries are separately listed to major companies, so they present their data or publish their data separately. So if you want to see the data in case of ISC, the detailed consolidated data, one has to go and look at the subsidiary financials separately. If we just look at here, in case of ISC, this is the holding level is only 1.35 million, 1.35 tons. And if we just look at here, ISC back in 2022 and 21, we can see, just have a look at this enormous number. What does it say? This group is huge group. It has huge operations. If we just look at the industry counterpart, which may we have selected just here for now, conglomerate, it's around 20 to 16,000 average trend is there. This is the basic comparison. Now let's move to the conclusion part. That what are the takeaways? Now let's summarize the ESG journey of these four companies that we have discussed and explore the concepts of connected information and reporting boundaries. Let's first look at their compliance status. If you look at it, in this table, there are two tables in this dashboard, and below that we can see the definition, connected information as well as reporting boundary, which I have taken from IFRS. In case of ADNOC, if you look at its compliance with various standards, we can see that in case of GRI, they are complying with the GRI, which is the mandate of ADX, and they are fully complying with this. Uh, Till 2024, they have not adopted IFRS S1 2. CSRD in their case is not applicable, and TNFD, which is another standard related to biodiversity, is they have not it's not applicable. They have not adopted this. Uh, Here, there is related to assurance. There is one very interesting point we will see here. We will discuss here. If you look at their 23 reports, year 2023 report, they did do the limited assurance, but this assurance was carried out by an engineering firm. Engineering firm name was DNV. Uh, from 2024, the current year, they did the audit or limited assurance by an accountancy firm, which was a big four firm. In case of the reporting boundary, is quite stable. Whatever the numbers of the companies which were part of the reporting from the beginning, almost similar was there over the period of 3 4 years. That what we have compared. Um, in case of Etisalat E and which is telecommunication, again they are following up and complying fully complying with the requirements of ADX. In case of GRI, in case of IFRS, they have shown commitment in their report that they would follow whatever new standard comes in. CSRD, they are also following CSRD due to their operations in Europe. And if we go and study the report in detail, that they are using that learning even in the current space as well. So if we look at from that perspective, it looks like they have very robust system in terms of this reporting. Assurance for 2024, we didn't find that in the report. In case of FAB, again, they are complying with the GRI. IFRS is not implemented yet. CSR did not applicable. TNFD they have adopted. This is the only company out of four they adopted the TNFD. They did do the assurance back in 23, but at the time of preparing this report and the information from the reports we gather the data, only estimates were there. So there was no report available that time. Maybe it might have done or maybe available after that time period. Stable boundary, no change in that. In case of IHC, they are complying with the GRI requirement for as adopted by ADX. IFRS, they have not adopted. CSRD not applicable. TNFD not adopted. And in case of assurance and audit, uh, done information is verified by the internal auditor as what their report says, and some independent third party consultant also verified the numbers. But there is no independent report available like auditor's report, some big four firm or some other auditor report is available, whether limited or complete assurance report. In case of reporting boundary, as we have already explored that the reporting boundary changed and the reporting approach changed over the period. The main reason we understand that the group expanded from 400 subsidiaries back in 2020 2021 to over 600 in 23 and over 1000 subsidiaries in 2024. So, due to the changes required, due to the vast expansion of the group itself, it it is quite obvious that gathering that huge data and managing that whole information chain is practically probably not possible. So they followed the approach of from sector level reporting to revenue generating unit who publish their report by themselves, and the holding company just presenting their its own numbers. This is for the sake of flexibility or to achieve the result on time, to meet the reporting deadlines, maybe. Now let's move to the conclusion part. In case of ADNOC, it shifts from DNV's technical verification back in 23 to EY's ISA 3000 uh, assurance back in 24, marks growing maturity towards investor focused reporting, which basically signals integration with financial reporting and investor expectation, which is a good sign. In case of Etisalat E&A, if IFRS S1 and S2 are adopted, it could further refine telecom related disclosures. In case of FAB, they did do limited assurance back in 23. 2024 was not available at the time of using our or arranging the information for this presentation. And their adoption of TNFD and other standards actually shows their maturity in terms of the processes they're following for the sustainability reporting. In case of ISC, which is a special case, a very important case for learning purposes, I believe that it is important that we also try to link or understand this with the help of definition provided in the standard. Two relevant definitions are there, which is one credit information, and second one is reporting boundary. What happens is that credit information links financial and sustainability data to provide holistic view, while reporting boundary defined entities included in the disclosure. So in this in the case of IC, when consolidated financial information is available and ESG report shows holding company data, though separate financials are published of subsidiaries, at one place data availability raises this question. So we need to see in the future that how this question or point is addressed in the future. Overall, these companies are advancing UE's ESG landscape in a phenomenal way. Challenges are there, and they need to improve the processes. People have to learn. They have to improve the systems to gather the data points for the reporting, and hope from this vlog uh, you must have got some valuable information, valuable insight related to ESG reporting. Uh, Thanks for watching, and do drop your thoughts or comments in the mailbox in the comment section. Thank you very much. Take care.